Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 45 of Sooner Girl Sports Pod. And I have one of my favorite interviews with former Sooner football standout Marcus Dupree. I interviewed him a couple of months ago, and I have been telling everyone since then that I talked to him, and I've been obviously trying to spread out my football content throughout the season. And it is finally time for you guys to hear this amazing conversation. Was connected to Marcus through a mutual friend of ours. Shout out to my friend Larry for giving me that connection. And Marcus is just the most amazing human. He is so kind. I truly enjoyed talking to him and getting to know him. I've even talked to him a couple of times since our interview. And he has invited me to things and hasn't forgotten about me. And that just truly means more than anyone will ever know. I grew up hearing his name, of course, as I talk about in the interview with him. I was only 2 years old when he played at OU. And so obviously I did not watch him play, or I probably did, but I don't remember. But just his name is synonymous with greatness at the University of Oklahoma. And just the fact that he took the time to chat with me and come on to my podcast is truly humbling. I'm forever grateful for my conversation. And I hope that you guys enjoy my conversation with Marcus Dupree. So today's episode, I'm going to put the Sooner headlines of the week and my injury report at the end of the episode so we can get right into the interview with Marcus. So you can find Marcus on Twitter/X and on TikTok, and I will link all of that in the show notes, and we'll be tagging him, of course, on social media all week long with clips and promos from the show. So be sure and give him a follow, give him a shout out, tell him thank you for coming on the show and that you enjoyed the interview. His grandson, Janalen, plays for Jackson State, and his cousin is Isaiah Dent, who plays for OU. He is one of our tackles. So it's a cool tie that he still has to the university today. Also, we talk some in our conversation about Hall of Fame Academy, the youth football camps that Marcus is a part of. Again, I will link all of that in the show notes and on social media throughout the week. That is something that you will want to check out to see what he is doing with that. There is really an exceptional program and super cool. So glad he shared that information with me. But for those of you who don't know, here's a short intro on Marcus Dupree. Marcus is a former professional football player and Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame inductee. He was born in Philadelphia, Mississippi in 1964. He was considered the most sought after high school recruit in the state's history. Rocker breaking Herschel Walker's record for touchdowns. He played for the University of Oklahoma, and he was Football News Freshman of the Year and Newcomer of the Year. He was the third team All-American in 1982, first team All-Big 8 in 1982, and he finished the season with 1,144 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns. He was also in the USFL for the New Orleans Breakers and in the NFL when he played for the Los Angeles Rams. His head coach, Barry Switzer, said that he was the best player on the field, and Earl Campbell was the only other guy he ever saw that was like that. Physically ready as a true freshman, one of the best players on a great college team, and maybe even ready for the NFL at his young age. He scored his first college touchdown against Texas on a 63-yard fake reverse, which we talk about in our interview. Really cool story to hear. He still today holds the Fiesta Bowl rushing record from 1983 at 239 yards. Billy Sims said he's the greatest player to never win a Heisman. I asked him again what was his favorite Sooner memory. He talks about winning against Texas, his Bedlam win that year, losing to Nebraska, which was a very big deal. OU Nebraska in the Big 8 back then. He talked about Gary Gibbs, former OU head coach, who was the defensive coordinator at the time. Spencer Tillman was his freshman running back. His LB Jackie Ship. Tony Casillas was a freshman DT. John Blake, who was also a former head coach for Oklahoma, was a guard on that team with him. He's got lots of grandsons that play football. It really runs true deep in his blood, in his family. He is living his best life now as a movie star and playing lots of golf. Again, I truly enjoyed this conversation with Marcus. I am so thankful to have made that connection with him. He is such a great human. I'm so thankful to be able to call him my friend, and I hope you guys enjoy this conversation with the amazing Marcus Dupree. Well, I greatly appreciate you giving me part of your time because you're quite the busy fellow these days, huh?
I am always busy.
That's
Gotta
good.
keep it moving.
That's right, sir. That's right. You got to live your best life, right?
Got to.
So tell me a little bit what are you up to these days? You said you were recording a movie.
Well, we're getting ready to film a movie about me.
Oh, okay.
So it's still a ways off. We just particularly just doing the paperwork and getting all the I's and T's crossed.
Wow. Well, that's super cool. I can't wait to see that.
It's been a year or so off, so we still got a lot more to do.
Okay, well, I'll keep an eye out for sure. And I know you play a lot of golf because you play with a couple buddies of mine.
Yeah, I'm there. I don't know about playing, but I'm there. I'm
Hey,
not good at it, trust me. That's the main thing. We're trying to make everybody have fun.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm buddies with Jason Meese. I think I told you, and then of course Larry Darter. I've known both of those guys for years, so they speak very highly of you and always have a good time with you on the golf course. I know.
Yeah, we have a great time, no doubt about that.
That is all that matters. That's all that matters. Well, as you probably know, I did not get to watch you play football because I was just a wee toddler.
Well, I'm
But
sure.
but I was 2 years old when you were at OU.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
I don't think you were watching OU football. I hope not, at least.
I wasn't. I heard about it though growing up my whole life. My dad had season tickets. I started going to games with him when I was about 7 or 8.
Okay.
So in the late 80s. So I remember Gary Gibbs, Coach Gibbs, and I did a little research on you and your time at OU. I know it was short-lived, but it was very remarkable nonetheless. But I did not know, or maybe I'd forgotten, that Coach Gibbs was the defensive coordinator when you played at OU.
Yes, he was the defensive coordinator for sure. Yeah.
I I remember him being the head coach when I started going with my dad and grew up, watching him, and Cale Gundy was quarterback back then. And something else I didn't know was John Blake played on the team with you, and he of course later was one of our head coaches for a brief while as well. I did not know
Exactly.
that.
Yeah. John was a defensive tackle, nose guard. He was a senior when I was a freshman.
I did not know that those two guys were associated with the program back then. So that was a cool connection that I learned while I was doing a little research on you. Well, you grew up in Mississippi, obviously grew to love the sport. So what started your love for football? How'd you get started playing?
Really just wasn't the love for football, just playing all sports. Where I grew up, everybody played all the sports, small
Yeah.
town, so football just stood out a little bit more than everything else. I played baseball, ran track, also played basketball. So in a small town, you got to play all the sports. So
Yes.
everybody just thought I should be a football player, and then now I look back on it, I should have stuck with baseball.
Well, I do love baseball, but football's my first love. But you had a heck of a time OU, so let's talk a little bit. How did you end up in Oklahoma from Mississippi?
Well, I was the number one recruit in the country. And I always watched OU football on TV back then. It was only that few channels that broadcast college football, and Oklahoma was like one of the teams that was always on TV. So
Uh-huh.
I knew Oklahoma would give me the opportunity to market myself across the country and across the world. So that's why I ended up at OU.
Well, Barry Switzer, I know, thought very highly of you on the field and in person, and he said that you were always the best player on the field. So I guess that played a part, obviously, in him wanting to get you there, and then you ultimately ending up at OU. I know your time was short lived in Norman, but what a mark you left on the program while you were there.
Yeah, we tried to do that. We made sure that we came to play, was ready to play, and God has His opportunity to let me show the talent that He gave me, and I did what I had to do.
You did. Well, you had a great win over Texas that year, and then you had a great Bedlam win, so you can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that. Can't beat that. I don't think we didn't beat Nebraska because it took us
I
to the Orange Bowl, so we lost by 4 points, I think, and But it was a great year.
Well, you had a great run in the Fiesta Bowl, and you still hold some records with that today. They're still
Yes.
very, by a long shot, in place. So I don't know that they will ever be beat.
We'll see. I'm sure somebody records are meant to be broken, but you just never know. They throwing the ball a lot more than they are running the ball right now. So I'm like you. I think it'll be a long time before the record is broken.
I think so too. I think so too. Yeah. So it was 239 yards was
Yep. I should have had
your rushing
500.
record.
Yep,
Yeah.
probably should have had 500.
Well, I saw that Ashton Giante from last season at Boise State was the closest in second behind you, and I think he was at like 104 yards, so he was still quite a ways off from catching you. So yeah, I definitely think your record there is going to stand for a while.
So
That's really
anyway,
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean that it's been that long and it's still standing. I love it. I love it. So tell me a little bit. You had a great season, OU. I looked up your stats. You finished the season with 1,144 yard rushing and 13 touchdowns, and
hmm
that's pretty incredible. You were first team All Big Eight and a third team All American.
yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that season. I know you probably have some stories or some memories that are good to share.
Well, it was just playing with being able to play. Start as a freshman, and started into the fifth ball game, and end up racking up that many yards was to me also impressive, and scoring
Absolutely.
the touchdowns, and then the Fiesta Bowl, setting the record there, and I really was wishing that we could have played in the Orange Bowl, but we got beat by Nebraska, and it was
Mm-hmm.
a good year, especially for a 18-year-old freshman coming in and trying to learn his way. End up making a lot of good friends, and Wayman Tisdale, who played basketball, was one of my best friends, and
Oh, awesome.
so it was a great year, and that's what I remember. Wayne. A lot of the football players, I guess, just didn't hang with. I was with Wayman all the time,
Uh-huh.
so I used to go home with him to Tulsa, and then, so that was like get away from campus type of deal, home from
Mm-hmm.
home. I mean, get away from and get an opportunity to branch out and meet other people, and so I thank Wayman for that. Rest in peace. But it was a great year, 1982.
Yes, well, that's awesome that you were such good friends with him. Of course, Sooner fans are going to recognize his name for sure. Again, obviously, I didn't watch him play, but I know that name very well. So that's really cool that you guys had that connection. Obviously, Coach Switzer is still around, still leaving his mark in Norman and doing all the things. So tell me a little bit about your relationship with him back in the day and just throughout the years. I'm sure you guys still see each other today.
Oh yeah, we still see each other. No, it was the on and off love relationship. At the time, I was there as a freshman, but today we're trying to do some business together and helping him do some stuff with a couple of contracts that he has, and we still talk and we speak, and I see him at the games, and we go do coach's cabana, so everything's
Oh
good.
yeah, awesome, awesome. Well, I have always heard that he was such a beloved coach, and of course, he has everyone has a lot of stories about playing for him. And what I remember about him is when he coached for the Cowboys. Obviously, that was my teenage years, my early teenage years, and I grew up not a Dallas Cowboys fan at all. My dad actually taught me to say "Boo Dallas" at a pretty young age, but we watched the Cowboys when Coach Switzer was there, and so I remember watching him back in their glory days. So that's pretty much the only active coaching memories, obviously, that I have of Coach Switzer. But he had a good time there in Dallas.
Yes, he did. I don't like the Cowboys either, but it's
So
all good.
so you played in the NFL. You played for the Rams.
I did. I played a couple of years with the Rams, but I set out 5 years because I got a career-ending knee injury, and one day I just woke up and said, "You know what? God, you give me the strength to let me play. I mean, train for these 3 months is get in the best shape possible, and let's go see
Awesome.
what we can make happen." And that's what we did.
That's awesome. So you played for how many years?
I played two. I played two in the
Okay.
USFL, and I played a 2.5 in the.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so your first touchdown that you scored, at OU was against Texas on a 63-yard fake reverse. So that's a big deal. Any touchdown scored in the Cotton Bowl in that game is a huge thing to remember for sure. So I'm sure you remember that moment pretty well. So let's talk about that.
Well, it was kind of like, I think they were up on us by a touchdown, I think, or we might have been tied up. I can't remember. But
Uh-huh.
we went to we called timeout and we went to the sideline and coach was talking to us. And he called the play reverse. It was supposed to be a regular reverse. And so we were about to run back out on the field to start the game, and coach calls me back and says, keep it. So nobody else knew I was going to keep it but me. So I said, okay, that's what I want to do is keep it anyway. So like I said, nobody else knew that the play was that I was going to keep the ball in that play. It even faked the cameras out. I go back and watch the film and fakes the
I
cameras
love
out.
it.
And I ended up going down the field 63-yard, first touchdown in college football, and especially against Texas.
That's incredible. Well, I've talked to a couple other former players, Ryan Broyles, Trey Millard, and Teddy Leinen, and of course Teddy has some great OU Texas memories as well. They all do, but it's funny to think about that game because my dad first took me to Dallas to the Red River rivalry. I was 10 years old. I look now and I think there's no way I would take a 10-year-old into that atmosphere because it's crazy.
I
But
know.
there's so
I
many.
even hate going in the atmosphere right now, so I rather watch it on TV.
I totally understand that. I do love going. There's a lot of moments to go through and to live through, and to think that I was there and saw them happen is really special to me. I was in college at OU in the early 2000s. And so I was there for the big win, the 63-14 win. And I remembered our president, David Bourne, at the time coming on and canceling class that Monday. We were just all on a high from beating Texas that bad. And what a moment that was. But I have a lot of great memories from that game, but I don't disagree with you. It's quite the hassle to go.
Oh
So
yeah, it's a
sometimes,
hassle. Yeah, getting in and out of there, boy, I'll tell
yes,
you, it's a hassle. It is a
sometimes
hassle, but
it
it's great pageantry. It's
yes.
great atmosphere. It's what college football is all about, and then
Uh-huh.
having it right there in the center of the Texas State Fair is amazing. People, you got to do at least one time, and then after that,
Yes.
then hey, watch it on TV.
I agree. That's what I tell people. I have a friend who doesn't really like crowds and all of that unfamiliar territory, and I'm like, you have to go at least one time and experience it because it is a core memory for sure. But I agree, it's a lot easier to watch on TV for sure.
Yeah,
But I spoke with Trey Millard, and we were talking about OU Texas, and he was saying that he thinks it's the greatest rivalry in college football. And of course, I don't disagree with that by any means, but being in that stadium has to be pretty incredible because there's nothing like it. With that 50-50 split,
yeah. Yeah,
you
well,
go
I
from
tell you
one
what,
end to the other.
walking down the tunnel out the locker room to the field is amazing. It's a great feeling that I can't not, if I try to describe it, I won't do it justice. You just have to be there to walk down that tunnel. And Texas is on one side and you on the other side. Sometimes I've seen over the years it's been some fights get started, but
Yes.
I didn't care. I come to win the game. I'm not from Texas. I'm not from Oklahoma. I'm coming here to play ball. So,
Saw where Billy Sims has always said about you that you were the greatest player to never win a Heisman. How do you feel about that?
well, it hurts a little bit, but God has his way, and now my name is the Heisman Trophy for high school. So
Oh, okay, awesome.
They have the Heisman Trophy for the Player of the Year that's equivalent to the Heisman Trophy now. So the Player of the Year will get the Marcus Dupree Trophy, which is the
I
Heisman
love
for
that.
high school football. So I presented it this past year at the Hall of Fame for high school. They've started National High School Hall of Fame, which I went in
Uh-huh.
the first class with Jim Brown and Archie Manning and Bernie Kosar and Archie Griffin, who won 2 Heisman trophies. And
How
so
neat.
now it's the Marcus Dupree Trophy, which is equivalent, like I said, is equivalent to the Heisman Trophy for high school. So that's an honor, and that'll go down in history, and I guess immortalized forever.
Absolutely. That's incredible. I did not know that, so I'm really glad you brought that up. That's really cool to for you to have been inducted into that with those awesome names that we recognize, and then of course now to have that award named after you, and you get to present it every year. That's super
Every
cool.
year till I
So,
leave this earth. Yes. So they building a new. They also is building a new. The Cleveland Browns are building a new stadium.
yes.
So they're also going to be building a new National High School Hall of Fame building
Okay.
along with the stadium, which will be about 40,000 square feet. And so I was
Wow.
told the other day that they're going to have a room for every person that won the Marcus Dupree Award. It's going to be a room, and the trophy will be sitting in the center of the room, and it'll be
Wow.
it'll be turning, and so and everybody's plaque will go on the wall, or a bus will go on the wall when people come in and watch it or see it.
It's so cool. I actually went to Cleveland a handful of years ago when Baker Mayfield was playing there, and it's a neat little city. So I'll have to remember that and go back sometime so I can see that because that's incredible. I love
Yeah,
that.
so they're moving to, I guess it's a little town right outside Cleveland called
Uh huh.
Brookshire.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's over by the airport. So
Oh
uh,
yeah.
so yeah, they should be starting on it this year.
Well, that's really cool. I knew that they were getting a new stadium, but I didn't realize they were building that as well. So that is really incredible. That's exciting
Yep.
for you.
Yeah, that's it is.
Well, I went to your Twitter account and found a bunch of photos. I found a couple of you with Barry Switzer and Toby Keith, of course, um, and just a couple of old snapshots of you playing football. But I saw a couple of you with your grandson. So I guess you have some grandkiddos that play football now as well.
Do have 12 grandkids, and the oldest grandson is right now playing at Jackson State. He's a starting receiver there, and they won the
Oh,
national
cool!
championship last year. So it's his
Awesome.
senior year, possibly his senior year, because he could come back and play two more if he wants. But
Uh huh.
this is his senior year, so we'll see how he does. He says he sees 1,000 yards receiving this year, so we'll see.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay, well, is his last name Dupree or does he have
Yes,
a
it
different
is.
last name?
Janilan
Okay.
Dupree. Yeah, Janilan
Okay.
Dupree.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to look him up and follow him. That's really neat. That legacy is getting carried on through your grandkids. That's really cool.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
I also found a picture of you with Coach Switzer from the Sugar Bowl back in 2014. And I talked about that game with Trey Miller. He was a captain on that team, but he was hurt and couldn't play in that game. But that's one of my favorite memories of that game and what happened because no one expected OU to win and to beat
Exactly.
Alabama in that Sugar Bowl. So you were there hanging out with Coach Switzer. So I bet that was quite the game to see in person.
Oh yes, it's definitely quite the game. Hung out with Coach Switzer, and at that time I forgot the guy's name. He was the mayor of Tulsa, and then Coach Switzer and I had hung out because I was living in New Orleans at that time, and
Okay.
so we hung out downtown, and it's some great times that we can't speak about. But it was a great time, a great week, and it was great to see the Sooners come in and beat Alabama like that.
Absolutely. That is one. That's a good Trevor Knight memory that no one will ever forget.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, can you think what's another game that you've gone to that sticks out to you of being one of your favorite games to have attended?
Let's see, let's see. Well, probably the game that you were at, I was at that game too when we beat Texas. Wasn't Quentin Griffin on that team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
was there at that game doing. I forgot I was doing something for ESPN. So yeah, I was. That's
Okay.
probably one the game that I can think of that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite memories from back in my college days. And then, of course, I don't know if you were in Norman when we played Nebraska that year. And of course, that was our big win. It was after we had beat Texas that October. I'm trying to remember who else we beat. Kansas State was ranked in the top five. And I want to say Missouri, but I may have made that up. But we beat four teams in a row in October. They called it Red October that year. And then we come out, beat Nebraska, and we
Right.
were number one in the nation after that. And I will never forget that night. I can still very vividly recall so many aspects of that day, getting to the stadium and just the game and the
Yeah.
afterwards and everything. What a season that
Oh,
was to
that was a
watch.
good season. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I loved watching Josh Heupel, and just what a season that was to see. So now, Josh Heupel, we have so many players that are scattered across the landscape of football, and Josh Heupel being at Tennessee, and OU goes to play there this season, and I sure hope we come out with a win. Like we did back in 2015. I'd love to see that happen again.
Yeah, I was there. I was there at that game, and I was sitting on the Tennessee side with a bunch of Tennessee people in their skybox, and I kept telling them, I said, we got something called Sooner Magic, because I think Tennessee had jumped up on us like 2 touchdowns,
Yes.
something like that. And I was like, if we score before half, it's over for you guys. And they're like, oh, no, 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 no. I said, okay, just watch and see what I tell you, and I'll be
That's right.
doggone it. We come right back out and blew them out. So
I
they
love it.
pick at me about that now, man. That Sooner Magic crap.
Well, another game that sticks out to me as far as Sooner Magic goes, and I know that Baylor's not like a big rival to us by any stretch of the imagination, but when we played at Baylor, Jalen Hurts was our quarterback, so it would have been 2018, I believe. And we were down, and Baylor was really good that year. They were ranked in the top 10, I believe. But we were down at half again by a couple of touchdowns, and we came back and just took off. And that was some Sooner magic. I will never forget it. And that one sticks out to me with Jalen Hurts because I love Jalen. I love watching him play, and I think that's a big one for him as far as Sooner fans go.
Oh yeah, no
Remembering when
doubt.
he ignited that Sooner magic that night for sure.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about
I,
it.
Another one that sticks out to me for Sooner Magic is I want to say 2021, the Red River rivalry. And we came back and won that game, and we were down. We came back and won, and we were at home. My husband was taking pictures of me jumping up out of the chair, laying on the floor, and doing all sorts of stuff. I was going nuts. So yeah, you never discount the Sooner Magic because you just never know when it's going to come.
That's true. That is so true. That is so true. I was picking at the guys when we're, I guess, the first year of the playoffs when we played
Uh huh.
Georgia, and
Oh yes,
so I
the
was sitting
Rose
up there with
Bowl.
the ESPN people, and I thought we should have won the game, and we had the momentum, and I don't know what was
Yes.
going on. And I kept telling them we got Sooner Magic, we got Sooner Magic. And I think we started coming back, and so the guy ended up getting up leaving. He said, "Oh, I feel this Sooner Magic coming, Marcus." So you know what? I think I'm gonna just get up and leave. And I'm like, "Oh, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet." So yeah, it was a good game. We should have won that game though.
We should have. It still hurts me to think about that game. I have always loved Baker Mayfield, and I really thought that was his time to shine and his year for us as Sooners. And I waited till that clock ran all the way out before I gave up hope because I was with you. I kept thinking that Sooner Magic was just going to kick in any minute. So
Yep,
what a
yep,
game that was.
no doubt.
Well, here's hoping that we have a great season this coming season with a lot of Sooner Magic on deck because we've got quite the slate ahead of us with
Yep.
the SEC and Michigan coming to town. So here's hoping we have a lot of Sooner Magic left in the tank.
Well, I think we will. We just got to play consistent on offense, and the defense do what they have to do. And I have a younger cousin who plays on the team, Isaiah Dent. He's number
Oh, okay.
73. He plays right tackle, and he says the new quarterback looks pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. And like I said, we just got to keep people healthy. And at the end of the day, because
Absolutely.
it's a grind when you play in the SEC. It's a grind every week. And so,
Yes.
you just got to keep people healthy and help, hope that some good things gonna happen. And every now and then you do need a little luck, need a little Sooner magic. So I'm
Yes.
looking forward to this year to see how we pan out.
Me too. Me too. Well, like you said, it's very important to keep everybody healthy, and so far I think we came out pretty well in camp and in preseason practices. So fingers crossed it continues on into the season for sure.
Yes, indeed.
So,
Yes, indeed.
yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to share before we
Well,
hang it up?
right now I live in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we're putting
Uh-huh.
together with the Hall of Fame out of Canton. We're putting together the Marcus Dupree ninth grade All American game here in Biloxi, Mississippi, which will be played next year in the last week in June. And also we're
Okay.
doing a Hall of Fame Academy where we're going to bring people going to come like fifth through eighth grade, and we're
Okay.
not only going to have the kids on the field, but we're going to have the kids and parents in the classroom teaching them how to work out, teaching them how to eat, teaching them about
Oh,
the
good.
NIL, teaching them about financial literacy. So it's going to be an academy, not per se a camp, but a little bit of
Uh-huh.
both. But we're going to be more teaching. We're going to have people coming in speaking, and we got one guy from Oklahoma State, Melvin Gilliam. He works at the bank, but he also teaches at Tulsa. He's going to come in
Okay.
and talk about financial literacy. We're looking forward to that. And also in December, we're putting together right now as we speak, the Hall of Fame High School Combine, which will bring in all the top kids, and we'll bring in college coaches to watch them work out. This past summer, we did it in Jackson, Mississippi. We have around 1,500 kids, and about 7 or 8 of those kids got scholarships right there on the spot. And then
Oh,
we
how
don't know how many
cool.
other kids got offers to other schools.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good outlet for kids, and you like spread the word that they can come down to the beach and they can choose a family vacation, and we got great hotels and casinos here, great amusement parks, and so they can plan it as a family vacation, and also
Yes.
the kids can get in some camp work and go from there.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, that's really incredible that you are using your passion and knowledge and all of your accolades and you're using it to help the future generations and get the word out there and just make the world a better place. And I love that.
Thank
So
you.
that's incredible. That is incredible. I'm so glad that you shared all of that. That gives me some more stuff to follow along with and check in
Yeah,
with.
so
So
since you're on Twitter, just go to Hall of Fame Academy and tweet it out.
I will.
Repost everything that we post up. And the more we get the
Absolutely.
word out, the better it would be for the kids to be down here and get the experience. So we're gonna bring in some
Yeah.
Hall of Famers to do some speaking, and we're gonna do a dinner, and it's gonna be. I think it'll be a lot of fun. That way, parents can also put their vacation on the same week
Yes.
to come here because, like I said, there's amusement parks here. You got the beach, you got the casinos, and you got football. So hey,
You
you
can't
can't
beat
ask
that.
for a better situation.
I agree. I agree. Well, it's very important what you're doing to help that future generation learn so many aspects of football and life. And you mentioned NIL and having someone come in and talk about financial literacy. And my husband's a banker. So obviously that's something important to us. And I understand the importance of passing that on to the future generations. And that's very important for these kids because they may
Yep.
not get it at home or school. And yeah, these NIL kids are getting a lot of money at a very, very young age. So they definitely need to learn that information.
And then it's another thing. A lot of parents think their kids should go D1. It's more than just
Yes.
D1. You got SCS, and
Uh-huh.
you got Division 2 and Division 3 and NI.
Uh-huh.
Every kid is not built to go to a D1 school, but as
So
long as you
true.
get a free education at the end of the day, and that's what counts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there's so many opportunities and avenues for them to go if they're just a little more open-minded about it. So that's important to make
Yep,
them aware of that as well. So that
exactly.
is awesome. I love that you're doing that. I love that you're
Thank you.
doing that. Well, I appreciate you taking the time for me today. Boomer Sooner.
That's right, baby. Boomer.
And now on to this week's injury report with Dr. Jason Leinen. Well, at least we have a fun win to talk about.
Man, that game was crazy.
Wasn't
Yeah,
it awesome?
it was awesome. It really was. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually watched it because we were out in Phoenix and I thought I'm going to see if there's like an OU club around here
Yeah.
somewhere. And so the OU club met in Scottsdale at a sports bar and watched the game and I was like, I'm just going to go. And so it was so much fun. We had the best time and the president, his name is Jason,
Okay.
He was so kind. He's an OU alumni. And we had so much fun. There were a lot of people there. So it was nice to be, because we were just going to stay in our hotel room and watch it.
Uh-huh.
So it
Yeah.
was nice to be with other people that were cheering and
Getting
excited and all the
excited.
things.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
but
cool.
it was a good game. There at the end, I was like puckering up, like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? But what a game! And again, we came out pretty unscathed for the most part, I believe, with injuries. So we're not
Yeah.
gonna complain. I feel
Yeah.
like our destiny's in our own hands going forward.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was one of those games that kind of like exciting moments all throughout, and some things you're like, oh, I wish we could have got that first down, or
I
oh man, we
know.
needed a touchdown instead of a field goal. But then we turn around and we get a turnover. It's like,
I
okay,
know
now
it.
I'm excited again.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I felt like our defense kept bailing us out and really kept us in the game, and
yeah,
yeah, capitalized
for
on the
sure.
mistakes that they had, which that really gave us all of the life that we needed to win, those turnovers for
Hmm.
sure. So it was a good win and everybody needed it. So
Yep,
I'm
that's true.
definitely
That's true.
thankful for it. I never saw anything else on the injury front. I never saw anything else on Xavier Robinson's knee. I know he went in that injury tent, came back out, had a brace on, and played some more.
Yeah,
Cool.
they were talking a little bit on the radio this morning. Now, this is just the local sports talk guys, but
Mm-hmm.
they said, from what they saw or what, heard, it seemed like maybe more
Mm-hmm.
just kind of a bruise, maybe a
Yeah.
bone bruise, or maybe just a knee contusion rather
Yeah.
than a ligament or a structural injury, which would obviously be good. And
Absolutely.
maybe one of those things that sometimes those injuries, it's kind of like your biggest limitation is just how sore is it, how
Right.
effective can you be, trying to run and cut and,
For
take
sure.
off, from a start and stop and
Well, we sure need him. So going
yeah, we
forward.
do. Yeah.
So our run game hinges largely on him, and I feel like, again, that I would like to see more of that, but maybe they scaled it back since our defense was taken care, and he did have that injury, and they didn't want to overdo it for him or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't
Yeah, it's
know,
hard to
but
know. I've
it
kind of
is.
wished we had more runs
I
whole
know.
season, but
I know. And
they
I
may
thought
just
we were
not.
going to. I thought we
Yeah.
were. I
Yeah,
mean,
I keep thinking that the last two or
I
three
did too.
games, and
Between him and Tori Blaylock, I just really thought, okay, we're gonna see more
yeah,
of that, and we haven't.
seemed
But
like we had the guys,
who knows?
that were starting to heat up on the running
Mm-hmm.
backs and the offensive line getting healthy and
Yes.
or somewhat healthy at least, and more experience. Yeah, but they came out with what three or four straight passing plays, but
Yep. Yep.
I mean they worked. I mean for the most part, so who
I mean,
knows?
I
I
guess
mean
they
those
got
short
the
passes
W.
at least,
So
yeah. So
yeah.
we'll see.
Well, Derek Simmons was back, which is a big thing for the O line, and then
Yeah,
Michaela has been back. He was out a little bit too, so it's good to have him back. I really wish, I don't know what happened with Gentry Williams, because he was not on the injury report early in the week, and he talked to the media and all the things, and then all of a sudden, I think on Thursday or Friday he was listed as doubtful, and I'm like, what the crap happened to him? So
yeah,
I don't know if it's something still with his shoulder or if something else happened that nobody's aware of. It was never mentioned anywhere that I saw other than
yeah.
that injury report, and then he ended up not playing. But him not playing and our Mason Thomas not playing, and then we still went out and did all of that on defense.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah,
It really is crazy. I mean, I hate that those guys are out, and I hope they're okay.
yeah,
Of course, like I said a couple weeks ago, Venables made it sound like our Mason Thomas wouldn't miss much game
right.
time, if any, is what he said. So here we've missed one game. So maybe we'll see him Saturday
I hope
against
so.
Missouri. I
I
hope
hope
so.
so. And I also, with him, I was kind of, thinking if we would have lost that game, he might have been one of these guys that just cuts it out for the rest of the season because
For
he's
sure.
ready for the next level, and
Yeah,
there's not as
I
much to
agree.
play for. Some of these guys throw in
Yep.
the towel, which is understandable.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean,
I
you hate
don't
to see
like
it as a
it, but I get it.
fan. You
Yeah.
hate to see it as a fan, but as a reasonable person, I guess you can
I
you
mean,
can see it. But now, if you're playing for playoff and you're playing for, I think he'll be back.
I think so too. And I mean, yeah, at this point, we're looking, if we win out with our 2 home games, which we have a very good chance of. Obviously,
Yeah.
I felt like that even 2, 3, 4 weeks ago.
Right.
Regardless,
Yeah.
I just hope that we don't pull an A&M, which I know they ended up winning that game Saturday against South Carolina, but they were down, I want to say 30-3, I believe, going into
Yeah, it was
half
bad. Yeah,
at home.
30 to
Yeah,
3.
it
Yeah,
was
that
crazy.
was.
And then they come back and scored, I think, 30 unanswered or 20, so whatever it was, and then they
Yeah,
won, I
it
believe,
was crazy.
31-28. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do not want that to happen because that's ridiculous. So I hope that we're not overlooking Missouri because they're not a bad team. And I did also hear their quarterback's been out. I don't remember what kind of injury he had. I don't know.
He had a foot or ankle. I never heard that
Yes, ankle.
if it was just a bad ankle sprain. I guess must not have needed surgery or anything,
I
or I
guess
don't think he'd
not.
be back. But yeah,
Yeah, Bo Pribula is his name. It said he may be able to return to action and start at Oklahoma Saturday,
yeah, it
just
seems like I've
3
heard that
weeks.
too.
So
Yeah,
color me surprised by that.
yeah. Of
Of
course,
course
one or
they
two
want.
good tackles by
I
these
know.
defensive linemen. He may be back on the.
That's kind of
he
what
may
I
throw in the
wonder
towel that
too.
one.
He might not be
Yeah.
as ready as they think he is. And
Mm-hmm.
then there is Hardy.
Oh, hard. Yeah.
He's incredible. I couldn't think of his name. I'm like, I
Yeah,
knew he
they've got
was
a
really
good run
good,
game. Yeah, they've got a
but
good run
yeah,
game for sure.
he has more rushing yards than our entire team this season.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 1346 yards, 15 touchdowns. We are 1307 yards, 17 touchdowns.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so back to the run
Although,
game
if you had to pick
situation.
one part of our
But
defense to stop, I mean, I think it would be we could
exactly.
stop the run.
He's going to be the one that we got to target on, I think, for sure. Because
Yeah.
I'm kind of like you with their quarterback. I think he might get a couple of rounds with our defense and be like, oh, crap, I'm done. I
Yeah.
can't
Well,
keep
if
up
he's
with
not
that.
mobile, if he can't escape the pocket, yeah, he's going to be in
Yeah.
trouble.
So, and yeah, like you said, I think we can hopefully stop their running back, and
Yeah,
that's the
hopefully
keys,
so.
in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
did you see that? I almost texted you Sunday night. The Eagles played Sunday Night Football,
Yes, I
and
watched part of that game.
okay, Lane Johnson went out with a
Yes,
foot
I did see
injury,
him going out.
which he had hurt his ankle like a couple of weeks ago. And then they taped him up and he came back.
Mm,
Well, I just assumed maybe it was the same thing, like he re-aggravated it or wasn't ready or whatever.
yeah.
No, guess what? He has a Liz Frank sprain.
Really? Oh
Is
wow.
it? Yeah, isn't that crazy? I thought of all things, like I don't think
All
I'd
things.
ever heard of that in my whole life until
Now I've got a couple
Kyler,
of.
and now
Yeah.
here we are. We got Lane Johnson out with it too, and yeah,
Mm,
they said he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. So of course
yeah.
Kyler just got put on IR, and
Yeah, it
so
was bad.
you
Yeah.
know, so I didn't get to see him Sunday, but that's okay. We still had fun at the game. But anyway, I just thought it was crazy. I thought of all things, Lane
Of all
Johnson
the
to get
things, yeah.
re-injured again, and now it's that. But
Yeah, him
so
limping into the locker room or
I
something.
hate it for
Yeah.
him. I mean, he is quote older as far as NFL
Yeah, he's been
standards
around a
go.
while for
He
sure.
has.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I mean, I think he's been around like close to 10 years.
Well, I would think so. Maybe
I
more than
think,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be at least that. I can't remember. It all kind of runs together. And then Dylan Gabriel, speaking of NFL, he plays
Yeah.
for the Browns. He went out with
Yeah.
I think
I
concussion.
think they said
Um,
concussion protocol, yeah, for him.
so I hate
Didn't
that
look
for
like a
him.
terrible hit that I
It
saw,
didn't.
but
Yeah.
sometimes those are just kind of freak, just the way the head gets jarred back on
Yeah.
the ground or something. But
Well, and Baker, they ended up losing Sunday, but he had a score where he went over to score the touchdown and he landed on his head. And I literally thought to myself, concussion match or like a neck or something,
yeah,
but he
neck,
was
yeah.
fine. I mean, I guess, like you said, it just depends on how they land or how they hit it or
Yeah.
whatever, but
Yeah,
he
some of
was
these
fine. But
some of these guys take these hits and you think, "Oh man, he'll be out for sure," and jumps right
yeah.
back up.
Yeah, Baker just kept rolling. I mean, he dove like head first and then just rolled and got up. So
Yeah,
he's
he's
Baker, I
crazy.
guess. I was gonna say Jaden Jackson. He was questionable the other day, and we never knew what for. I don't think, but he played.
Oh yeah.
But I never saw what exactly was going on with him, or if it's maybe a
Yeah, I
continual
didn't
thing,
either.
or but he played, so that's good news.
Yeah, yeah. Some of
So
these injury reports are kind of weird how guys shift around and
I know.
they'll look better, then they'll be back on questionable, then they'll be back on
Yes.
doubtful. And
Well,
so
they start putting them out on Wednesday, so I always look and I'm like, okay, is there anything new? You know, what's happened? And then yeah, as Thursday and
yeah.
Friday progresses, some of them will fall off, like Derek Simmons or
Hmm.
whoever. But yeah, I guess we'll find out, here in the next day or so what it's looking like for Missouri. But I expect to see their quarterback at least start. And hopefully our Mason Thomas is back. So I know he wants to be back for sure.
Yeah, hopefully he's
Especially,
back. Yeah.
yeah. And like you said, as long as we win these next two games, we could host round one of the playoffs
That would
in
be
Norman.
crazy.
That's a
Yeah,
big
that would
deal.
be
I mean,
crazy. I mean,
it is.
some of the matchup predictors or playoff predictors I saw, they had us matched up in Norman with Notre Dame. I'm thinking
Yep.
that would be a crazy environment.
That would be crazy.
That would be insane.
That would be insane. I signed me up for that one. And also, I've heard possibly USC. Of course,
Yeah.
if Lincoln Riley ends
If they
up back in
beat
Norman,
Oregon, they'll be in the mix for
yes.
sure.
I don't know if they can beat Oregon though.
I don't know that they can.
I
Yeah.
don't, because I think it's in Eugene, so
So that'll be a tough win for
it
them.
will.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of Dan Lanning. I think he's an excellent coach.
Yeah.
And they have a really good team this year. I don't think that they can beat Oregon. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not saying I'd be sad if they end up in Norman for a playoff game. Can you imagine, like, offensive mastermind, defensive mastermind? I mean,
and the crowd would be on Lincoln like white on rice. I mean,
it would be. I would almost feel bad for him,
crazy. Yeah.
I would. I mean, he deserves it. I'm not going to say he doesn't, but I would still feel a little bit bad because it would be ugly. It would be very,
I think so.
very. It would. But you couldn't sign me up fast enough if that happens. But I'm with you. I don't think they can beat Oregon, so I don't know that that's going to happen. I think it's more of a Notre Dame scenario. But I like Marcus Freeman. They've got a great team too.
They've got a good team. I mean, I don't know that I'd want to play them.
I know.
I mean, I wouldn't be necessarily scared, but I don't know that I want to play them.
I know. I'm the same way.
I'd prefer to play like a Power 5 team or whatever, or a Group of 5 team or whatever.
Whoever gets the quote consolation prize in that 11th and 12th spot. Yeah. I certainly, if I'm going to play Notre Dame, though, I would rather it be in Norman than in.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So that South Bend, and I think you would think if OU wins out, they would be in that top 8, which would get them.
I think so.
A home game. So.
I think if we win out, we're home game, and I think if we lose one of these, then I think we're out.
Probably out, probably out. Yeah.
Unless some crazy business happens and somebody else in the top 8 lose something.
Yeah.
I can't recall all of the matchups that are
all the scenarios.
There's
still too many scenarios to really.
There are. I don't anticipate it happening though. Yeah. I mean, as long as we win out, we control our own destiny, in my opinion.
For sure.
And again, we've got to win that first round game in Norman if it does happen, regardless of who it is. Yeah. So, and then I don't know what happens after that. I can't think. I believe it's New Year's Day is the next round, but I mean,
definitely turned into an exciting season. Yeah.
I know it really did. I think after that Texas loss, we were all like, well, crap.
Oh yeah, everyone was frustrated with that, and then after the second loss, that people were like, "Oh, here we go. That was terrible."
No one thought that we could beat Tennessee and Alabama on the road, and I'm not gonna lie. If I had to put money on it, I don't know that I would have guessed we would win both of them. If I recall, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was at least hoping we would win one of the road games.
Mm-hmm.
So when we won at Tennessee, I was like, oh, thank God. Now we're not like back up against the wall.
Yeah.
But the Bama win just, I don't want to say it shocked me, but man, we just played our hearts out. But my friend Scott that I had on the show last week, he's from Alabama, but graduated from OU. So he usually roots for both. But we talked last week about Alabama and then how the matchup was against us, and he said, I'm scared of the OU defense, like that's going to be a factor, and I agreed. And he said that their quarterback often has always looked like a deer in headlights, and I hadn't really watched them enough to notice a lot of details like that, but he was not kidding. Like the whole game, I'm like, he looks like he's about to poop his pants.
When he got pressured, for sure, he
did.
He looked a little bewildered.
But I still saw so many people putting him in the Heisman watch, which he had a lot of yards
He's
on
had good,
Saturday.
yeah, he still had a lot of yards. He's
He
had good
did a lot
stats
of
all year.
numbers. Yeah. So I'll give him that, but I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, because they have 2 losses, right?
They have 2 losses now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I mean,
I
again,
don't, I
I
don't know
kind
who's
of,
going to win the Heisman. It seems to be wide open, really. I
I,
mean, maybe
I,
this Indiana guy probably, if they keep.
yeah, I agree.
I mean, even if they lose to Ohio State in the Big
Yeah.
Ten title game, if it's close or if as
Which
long as
is
he
a
doesn't
good
get
chance.
completely murdered, then he'll
Yeah.
probably stay in the hunt for that.
I agree. I kind of feel about the Heisman race the way I feel about just the college football realm as a whole is I don't really feel like anybody is head and shoulders above anybody else. I feel like
Yeah,
we've all kind of gone back and forth and have our pros and cons and good days and bad days. And so, yeah, I feel that way about the Heisman race for sure. But I mean, I hate that John Mateer had the injury. I hate that he didn't recover from it as well
yeah,
number wise as we would have liked. That really cost him being in the mix
yeah. He was
even. But
he was in the mix, obviously, for sure to
yeah,
start.
I mean,
So
he was like at the top of the list
yeah,
basically, but
yeah,
and I think he still could have been in the conversation if he would have recovered better than he did.
right,
Whatever
yeah,
that means.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm real curious to see how Indiana does going down the stretch cuz they look really good.
They've
They
been
look
just murdering people. I mean,
they have
I mean, they really have.
they
Just that
have.
one game, what was it, Penn State, that was
Yes,
close that they had to
yes.
pull out at the end. But the rest of them, yeah, they've just been
Yeah.
putting people down. Yeah.
And I
So I don't
saw
know. I mean, everyone keeps saying Ohio State's the best, but they just haven't really played anybody.
I
I
don't
mean, their
know either.
strength of
I mean,
schedule's not great.
I agree. They beat Texas, but I'm like, well, I mean,
Yeah. I
it,
mean, Texas isn't great.
I
I mean,
don't think
really,
so
they're not
either.
great if you look at them. I mean, they
Oh,
should
they're
have lost
not.
2 more games,
They
really.
should have. And if John
But
Mateer had been healthy, I don't think they would have beat us.
yeah,
So there's
yeah,
that.
yeah. I
They did not look good Saturday night when we
no, they
watched.
didn't look
They
good at
looked
all.
terrible,
Yeah.
which they lost, but they
Well,
just
I
didn't
mean,
look.
really, if you look at it, Arch Manning has had like 2 good games this year. I mean,
I know.
maybe 3,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's going to be the answer for them
I don't think so
long
either.
term. But I
I
mean,
don't.
maybe with a little more experience, he'll be better.
I,
But we'll see.
and rumors too that Sarkeesian is 1 foot out the door. Of course, I know these rumors are always happening, but
Well,
I'm
yeah,
like, I don't
yeah,
know how true that is. But I mean, there's so much going on across the whole landscape
that's
with
great. The
it's so
coaching
many.
stuff's going to be crazy when it starts
It
to
it is insane. But
fall into
Virginia
place.
Tech, they nabbed James Franklin, which Penn
I heard they
State
were talking
fired.
about it. Did they sign
Yep,
him
they
officially?
it's
Okay,
official. Yeah,
okay.
so Penn State fired him right after that
Hmm.
loss, which I thought was insane of them to do, but nobody asked me. But yeah, I think that's a good hire for Virginia Tech for them. And then I don't know, there's just so much going on. There's so
That's
much.
a lot, yeah. So we'll
Yeah.
see. It'll all start
So
domino effect here
yeah,
pretty soon.
it's gonna start. And so yeah, as long as we win Saturday, I mean we got 11 a.m. again Saturday, which is frustrating. And
Yeah, the
then
morning games. Yeah, yeah.
yes,
Two
and then
thirty, I think, is the last game, right?
yeah, I
Yeah,
think they just announced 2:30 for LSU, and
yeah,
everybody was hoping for a night game for that, including
yeah.
myself.
I
So I
know.
really hate that.
Yeah,
It's like it kills them to give us a night game. And I
yeah,
think we've only played like 2 night games all season. We had one home game at
yeah. I think
night
so.
and then Tennessee at night. I think that
Tennessee
was it
might have been it. Yeah, yeah.
because Michigan was at night, right?
I think that was
I
the.
think the home game that we had at
Yeah, I
night.
think so. Yeah,
But yeah, I think those are the only 2 home games. So that's really frustrating to me.
yeah,
And we've had
yeah.
several 11 o'clock games. I mean, one of them on the road
Hmm.
and then a couple at home. But we just got to take care of business. I don't care
That's
what
right.
time of
Yeah,
day it
just
is.
gotta
We just got to
get it
win.
done.
So,
That's right. Yep, just gotta win. Just gotta win.
okay. And now on for this week's Sooner headlines of the week. First of all, I hope you guys enjoyed that amazing interview with Marcus Dupree and then my injury segment with my friend Dr. Jason Leinen. I'm so thankful to sit down with him each week and just discuss what's going on with injuries and any updates we have and just talk a little football. So I really appreciate him doing that each week as well. I'm going to save the Alabama game for the end of the headlines of the week since I might talk a little longer on that. But a quick update on the NFL. Baker unfortunately had a loss to the Bills on the road this past Sunday. Kyler is still on IR with the Cardinals. They unfortunately lost their game against the 49ers at home this past Sunday. And Jalen was on Monday Night Football. The Eagles against the Lions and Jared Goff. They did win that game. It was such a good game. So shout out to Jalen and the Eagles for that win. Also, shout out to Billy Bowman. He recorded his first solo sack of the season. He has assisted earlier in the season, but his first solo sack of the season with the Falcons. He caused Panthers quarterback Bryce Young to leave the game temporarily. He had 4 tackles in addition to that sack, bringing him to 26 tackles and 1.5 sacks on the season. Also, we saw Danny Stutzman at the Alabama game on the sidelines this past Saturday. He is with the New Orleans Saints. They were on a bye week, so he was able to get out and support his Sooners. I heard, and I can't remember who told this and where I saw it, but I heard that he was actually given Brent Venables sideline pass for the game on Saturday because he wasn't able to get his own credentials, and they're very strict about who they let on the sidelines there at Alabama, and obviously they're going to let Brent Venables down there. So word on the street is that Venables gave Danny his sideline credentials so that he could come on the sideline with the team on Saturday, which is pretty cool. But it was really cool to see him there and just supporting his Sooners. Also, shout out to our Mark Andrews with the Ravens. He just this past Sunday hit the most receiving yards in franchise history for the Baltimore Ravens at 5,778. Also, just a quick update on the stadium renovations in Norman. A few details. The goal is to start after the 2027 season and complete it before the 2029 season. It's a $450 million cost. It's essentially paying for itself due to the premium seats that will be available at its completion. OU studied several other stadium renovations, such as Florida State, to get some ideas on how to handle it. A quote from OU President Joseph Harris sums up why they felt like they needed to do the renovations. Ultimately, Oklahoma hopes that these renovations will generate more revenue and help pay for things like revenue sharing, facilities, and things like that. I'm going to move on and talk about some of our other sports and save basketball and football for the end because those are the big things going on right now. But I do not want to overlook what is happening across the other sports. So I did want to mention it was National Signing Day last week for all of the sports except for football. That happens in December. But we had so many different athletes signing for all of our sports. So please be sure and go check out all of the social media for all of our sports across the board. They had so many great athletes signing with them for their National Signing Day, and I tried to share those and follow those as they came across, but there is a lot of people. But be sure you go and check all of those out on social media. Give them a follow, show them some love as they come into Sooner Nation. Women's Gym, National Signing Day had the #1 signing class in the nation. Men's Gym had an excellent signing day as well. Also, our baseball, we got lots of new recruits coming in, National Signing Day also. And it was announced the stadium renos for OU Baseball Stadium. The Kimry family has given over $25 million to the renovations for Eldell Mitchell Park. They will be renaming the stadium after the Kimry family, which is more than justified. Absolutely. So many thanks to that sweet family for their donations to OU baseball and the program and the stadium. Softball, the full schedule is now out. Would like to point out that Bedlam softball will be played on Wednesday, April the 15th at Devon Park. So get that one on your calendar for sure. Again, now the full schedule is out. They do have first pitch opening day on Thursday, February 5th. There's so many great games coming up to look forward to. Lots of great matchups starting out in Arizona, then going to the Mary Nutter in California, which we did not play in last year. So it's cool that we're going back to do that. Then we will again be hosting the Okana Invitational in Norman the last weekend in February. Fingers crossed for better weather than they had this past February for sure for that. But again, our softball showing out on National Signing Day with the #1 recruiting class for 2026. And another announcement regarding softball is the AUSL, which is the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, announced expansion. They have a new team called the Cascade that will be starting in the 2026 season in the summer. And the OKC Spark is joining the AU, which is a huge development. It's a huge step in the right direction, in my opinion. Shout out to my friend, Dr. Tina Floyd, who is the owner of the OKC Spark, and Coach Amber Flores, who is a former Sooner. I had both of those awesome ladies on my podcast earlier this year. So if you missed those, you'll definitely want to go back and listen. But a few things about some changes that will be happening with the Spark as all of this happens. So Amber will still be the coach. Tina will be the executive director, and Destiny Martinez McElroy is the COO of the OKC Spark. And some of those operational duties, ownership will be shifted to the AU with this move, but the existing team rosters are going to be redistributed in a 2 draft process to ensure competitive balance as the league continues to grow. That draft will be aired on ESPNU on Monday, December 1st at 7 p.m. So the current Spark players that we've seen play the last several seasons, all of those contracts have expired. So the Spark will begin with a fresh roster in 2026. All of the current players will have the opportunity to enter the AUL's allocation draft, giving them a chance to be selected by teams across the league and continue their pro careers in the AUSL. Now, all of that to say, I did see something about them having, quote, protected players. I don't know exactly how many protected players that each team can have. I think I saw something about there being 4 or 5, but I could be wrong on that. But supposedly in the next coming days, there could be some information released about who those protected players are for each team. For example, I don't have any insider information. This is just purely my speculation. But if I were to go out on a limb and say, I think Jocelyn Allo is going to be one of the protected players for the OKC Spark. She was the first player that they signed. She's been the face of the organization. I could be wrong, completely could be wrong, so don't hold me to it. But for example, I think she could be one of the protected players from the Spark, and that just means that they would get to keep her and no one else could draft her. Just throwing that out there as an example. But all of these players are eligible to go into the draft. And then once that is completed, we will have a better idea of who will be playing on which team and so forth. But be interesting to see as it gets closer in the next week or so, the teams are supposed to reveal some of those protected players, their names, and give us a better idea of where they'll be starting with on their rosters for sure. But it's just a great step in the right direction. The AU, in case you missed it, they do have the support of Major MLB, Major League Baseball, and ESPN. So this will be great to help as far as financial backing, of course, I'm sure, and as well as hopefully access and ease of watching the teams and our favorite players during the summer for sure. Unfortunately, our soccer team did not make the NCAA tournament this year, so their season is over. I'm so sad to report that. My sweet Hadley Morell had her on the podcast earlier this summer to talk about the season. They really, truly did have an excellent season. Unfortunately, they did get beat out in the first round of the SEC tournament and just didn't quite have what it took to make it into the tournament. Shout out to Coach Matt Mott and all of those soccer girls. They are just the kindest, the sweetest girls. Work so hard, and they really did have a great season. Unfortunately, their season is over, but can't wait for next season. I know they always have a lot to look forward to. Lots of great signees coming in for soccer as well. So there's still lots to look forward to. A very promising future with our soccer team. Wrestling lost to number 1 Penn State this past Friday night. But on Saturday, we had a Sooner duel debut, a top 20 win. Tyler Wells defeated number 18 Dylan Chappell as Oklahoma defeated Bucknell 18-13 overall. We had the first win in a Sooner singlet for Tyson Sharmoli as he defeated Ty Capusta, and Connor Hendricks got us on the board as he defeated Chris Nusifora, and an awesome win for my friend DJ Parker as he defeated number 11 Dylan Beckholt by decision as well. And then Brian Soldano defeated Tyler Vanis. And next up, our wrestling crew has a duel at home on Sunday the 23rd versus Indiana. So I interviewed DJ Parker just a couple weeks ago, and his episode is dropping at the 1st of December. So you won't want to miss that one. I'm so excited to finally have gotten someone to represent our wrestling program. So super excited for you guys to hear DJ Parker coming up in a couple of weeks. Volleyball, our team is still rolling. The SEC tournament starts at the end of this week. Unfortunately, we lost our 2 remaining games that were on the road at Tennessee and at Kentucky. We lost both of those 1-3, but we have SEC Freshman of the Week, Avea Mega, and Alexis Shelton hit 1,500 career kills this past week. So super excited about those accomplishments. And again, we do have a rematch against Arkansas on deck for Friday at 11 a.m. in the SEC tournament. So fingers crossed, I'll be posting those updates on my social media on Friday as those come out. And I hope the girls get a great win in round 1 of the tournament with that rematch against Arkansas. Our tennis crew, the NCAA matchups are set. Our singles matches begin today as I'm recording on Tuesday the 18th. And our doubles will kick off tomorrow on Wednesday, the 19th, as this episode drops. But Oscar Lacitas is competing on Tuesday. I don't have those results yet, but I will post those on my social media as soon as they come out. And then on Wednesday, the day that this episode drops, our doubles team, Rodriguez and Kimmy, will be taking on a duo from Virginia. So I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention Luis Alvarez on the singles bracket as well, but stay tuned on social media. I will be posting those updates as they come out this week. Our NCAA individual qualifiers for our women are Rosen Gilhaney, Julia Garcia Ruiz, and Gloriana Nahum. And then also we have several women representing us in the W50 Chihuahua in Chihuahua, Mexico, November 17th through 23rd as well. Our track and field, our women finished 7th and our men finished 3rd in Stillwater this past Friday. We had 3 top 20 finishes for the men. That was incredible. We also had a top 10 finish for our female Leah Gerudo. Our cross country men are headed to nationals as a team for the first time since 2015. And also Leah Gerudo is an individual qualifier for our women. They will compete on Saturday in Columbia, Missouri. Also, as you heard me mention in my conversation in the injury report with Dr. Leinen, I was in Phoenix this past weekend and it turned into just a Sooner Fest for several days, and I'm not complaining about it. I will go into it a little bit more when talking about the football game. We went in for the NFL game on Sunday in hopes to originally see Kyler Murray. Unfortunately, he is on IR, so did not get to see him, but my husband is a 49ers fan, a big fan of Brock Purdy. And of course, I like Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa, who also is unfortunately on IR. But George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, so much fun. Still had a great time at that game. But we flew into Phoenix on Thursday. I saw on social media that our men's hockey club team was playing in Tempe at Arizona State University. So Thursday night and Friday night, I went out to support our hockey team. It was so much fun. Had the best time. Hockey is really growing on me. It's becoming one of my favorite things to watch. But I met some of the parents. So shout out to the amazing people that I met there at the hockey game. We were there Thursday and Friday night. We just had so much fun. And I got to meet Nate Monticelli. Nate is the brother of our former softball pitcher, Peyton, who has since transferred to LSU, but they are just the sweetest family. I've been Instagram friends with their mom, Lauren. So shout out Lauren. And when I had an opportunity to meet Nate, I stuck around after the game. It was just so cool. He was such a nice, sweet kid. I snagged a photo with him, posted that on my social media, so you can go check that out. I just had the best time. And so all that to say, if you have a chance to get out and support any of our club sports, especially hockey, I know they play through the end of February. There's lots of opportunities. They play on their home ice in Edmond at Arctic Ice. So get out and support them. It's just so much fun, and they really, really appreciate the support. So if you get a chance, get out and support the hockey team and all of our club sports. I share as much information as I can on our club sports on my social media, on my Twitter/X, on my Instagram, Facebook stories. You can find me on all the platforms at Sooner Girl Pod. But I share as much information as I can because I truly do want to support and recognize all the Sooner athletes who represent our university. Okay, update on our basketball teams. And I want to give an apology. I believe last week I was totally pronouncing his name wrong, and I don't know what got into me because, like, I know how to say his name. I've been down this road before, and last week on the episode, I totally said it wrong. I don't even know what I said, but Mo Wagi. I don't know why I said Mo Wag or whatever I said last week, but I just want to make that clear. His name is Mo Wagi on our men's basketball team. So my apologies to him for my brain fart or whatever the heck it was for mispronouncing his name last week. But I just wanted to clarify that. Also wanted to point out, again, back to signing day, Gage Mayfield signed with OU. He's a forward from Alabama. He is the lone signee for the 2026 class as of right now. Of course, that will change in the coming months, but he is the lone signee for now. But he is a good snag there for the class for Porter in 2026. It seems like forever ago that I watched the game in McCaslin. It was last Tuesday night, a 96-69 win over Arkansas Pine Bluff at that student-only game. They packed it out. It was super loud. It was really cool. I got to watch it on TV. Just a really fun environment there. Per Mike Hauk, Tay Davis, 11 offensive rebounds is the most by an OU player since at least 1995. So shout out to Tay Davis for that. Final stats on that game were Xavier had 19 points, 4 rebounds. Nigel, 15 points, 3 rebounds. Dayton also had 15 and 1 rebound. Tay, 13 points, 15, 4 assists. Darion, 12 points. Jeff had 7 points. Mo Wagi has 6 points, 6 rebounds. Qual Attack had 5 points, 1 rebound. Reed Lovelace, 3 points, 1 steal. And Kai had 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 1 steal. We moved on to Saturday, played Nebraska, and we lost 105-99. So next up for our men's basketball team, we have ORU on Thursday night at Lord Noble Center. And then we have Alcorn State on Sunday afternoon at 1. Our women's basketball, our latest ranking that just came out this week, we are ranked number 8. We did fall a couple of spots after our loss this past week, but that is still okay. We are sitting well in the top 10, and losing to number 3 UCLA, of course, was a bummer, but that is a very good team with a lot of depth and totally national title contenders. It just gives us something more to strive for and work hard toward. We did fall to UCLA last week. We just didn't have, again, the depth and experience to compete with the Bruins. They are an exceptional squad, but again, just a good learning experience for the young team. And we need our freshmen to figure it out really quick. And they will. They will get that experience and they will get the job done for sure. It's early in the season. There's a long way to go. So I'm not worried about it at all. Gianna Neepkins, she was just key for UCLA. You may recognize the name. She was in the portal for this coming season, and OU did make an effort to get her, but just couldn't contend with UCLA. But she's an exceptional player, and she really was the only player that we went after. So unfortunately, they ended up winning that battle, but it was really hard to swallow that she was the one that was such a factor in that game. But we still have a lot to look forward to and have a lot of excellent talent on our roster. We did have a scary moment. Reagan Beers went down with what we thought was a knee injury, but fortunately, after a couple of minutes, she hopped right back up and hobbled off and rested for a little bit, came back out and played, and she's been fine since. So thank the Lord. Of course, we never want anyone to be injured, but Reagan Beers is a huge factor on our team. So we are so thankful that she is okay. But leading the way for the Sooners, senior guard Peyton Verhulst scored 16 points, 4 assists. Sophomore guard Zaya Van added 13. Sahara Williams added 8. Reagan Beers had 7. True freshman guard Elia Chavez struggled from the field. She went 4 of 16 on shooting and averaged and scored 7 points. She did have 3 assists and no turnovers. As a team, the Sooners shot just 25% from the 3. The Bruins shot 36. They just really showed their strength on that bench again with that depth. Outscored us 18-4 from the bench. But we were back in action at home against Kansas City last Wednesday. We won 89-61. Chavez had a night. She had 29 points, 7 3-pointers and 4 assists. Peyton Verhulst had 13. Sahara Williams, 12, 8 rebounds. And Brooklyn Stewart, 11 points. We also hosted North Alabama last Friday at 10:30 a.m. for the annual field trip day. It was filled with 8,700 elementary kids from the Norman area. It was so loud in there, but it was such a fun game. I was able to watch a little bit of it. We did win that game 89-61. It was a great dominant win for OU. Great to see again Reagan and Elia both getting it going. Had some great development minutes also. Beers had 20 points, 11 rebounds. Travis 17, 4 rebounds. And 12 points, 3 rebounds, and Sahara Williams 13 points and 9 rebounds. That's a double-double for Reagan Beers. That's number 46 for her in her career, the most in the SEC. So shout out to her for that. A little funny tidbit, if you've heard any of these kids saying 6'7", they really got wild in the LNC when Zaya Van hit the 67th point at 6'7". Those kids were going nuts with her free throw. Just hilarious. They had a great time at their field trip. If you missed some of those photos and videos on the 6-7 shop, you'll want to go back and check those out. It was pretty comical. And any of your kids who are into the trendy 6-7 thing, they will really get a kick out of it. Also, it was just announced today that Elia Chavez is SEC Freshman of the Week. And up next, you can find our basketball women playing Wednesday night. So the day that this drops, Wednesday night at 6 p.m., it is Native American Heritage Night at the LNC. So get out and support our women. It is such a fun, talented team. You won't want to miss out on supporting them. Okay, now on to football. I know I mentioned this briefly in the injury report with Dr. Leinen, but I was out in Phoenix this week and we went out to Scottsdale with the OU Club of Arizona. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Terry. Shout out to Nakona. I met some truly great people at that watch party at Backyard Sports Bar in Scottsdale. It was so much fun. Like I said, I just got on social media. I saw that the OU Club of Arizona was getting together to watch the OU game. And I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. And I'm so glad I did because that game was incredible. And I'm so glad that I was able to watch it with like-minded people and not just in my hotel room or at some other random sports bar, kind of watching by myself. So shout out to Jason was awesome. He's an OU alumni that lives out in Phoenix, and I'm actually probably going to have him on the show sometime soon for an episode of Crimson Chronicles, which is my fan series. He's definitely Sooner born, but I can't wait to just chat with him. Maybe after the football season, do a little football recap, talk about how he became a fan and things like that. But he was so much fun. I think he's definitely maybe a male version of myself, but I just had the best time with the OU Club of Arizona. Thank you so much for welcoming me. Thank you, Jason. He gave me a shout out and really helped me promote the podcast and get people to support me and follow me. So I truly do appreciate him doing that. Okay, in case you missed it, Oklahoma beat Alabama at home on their homecoming last Saturday and broke their 17-game home winning streak 23-21. Again, as I talked with Dr. Jason, if you had told me we were going to win both of our road games against Tennessee and Alabama, I don't know that I would have believed you, but I'm so glad we did. Now we control our own destiny and we have got to win out. But again, not going to go much into that since I did talk about it with Dr. Jason. But Tate Sandell, Special Teams Player of the Week for the SEC. Eli Bowen, Defensive Player of the Week. Taylor Wine, Defensive Lineman of the Week. Those awards have kept rolling in. Tate Sandell, again, on the Lou Garza semifinalist list. Coach Venables got a coaching award for the week. We were the Pop-Tart Team of the Week. We've just gotten a lot of different rewards rolling in from that game, and rightfully so, as it was incredible. Alabama falls to 2-5-1 all time versus Oklahoma after that loss, including being winless 0-4 in regular season games. Truly incredible. Only 4 teams since 1980 have won at Alabama and Tennessee in the same season. OU this year, LSU did it in 2011, Auburn in 2004, and LSU did it in 1988. But the Sooners are the only ones to do it in consecutive games. So pretty big deal there. Again, like I said, Brent Venables' first comment in the aftermath of the victory, he labeled the game as a slugfest and gave it up to Kalen DeBoer in Alabama. Nobody really deserved to lose that football game, and I can't disagree with him there. We did all of this, as a reminder, without Gentry Williams, without R. Mason Thomas. They haven't lost at homecoming games since 2001. We won that game with only 212 yards of offense. To defeat Alabama on the road is just too incredible. 212 total yards is the fewest for an OU team in a win since the Sooners defeated number 5 Texas in 2001. Brent Venables was the co-defensive coordinator then as well. We started with a string of 2 3-and-outs. We had a new school record for Tate Sandell, making 19 field goals in a row and counting as the game went on. We had a couple missed opportunities with fumbles, but it turned into a blessing in disguise when Eli Bowen had the 87-yard pick six early in the game, and then RSJ picked off that regardless of whether Kendall Daniels had grabbed at that wide receiver, and unfortunately that resulted in a Bama touchdown due to the penalty, but that's okay. Next drive, Mateer 20-yard rushing touchdown, breaking 5 tackles on the way to the end zone. Great score by Mateer. Taylor Wine with the block on the kick to go to halftime, 17-14 at the half. During the second half, Tate Sandell converted again from beyond the 50. 52-yarder gave Oklahoma the 2014 edge. He was 7 of 7 at that point for over 50 on the year, and at that point had made 20 straight field goal attempts. Thank God for our kicker, and thank God for the Bama mistakes that we were able to capitalize on and really turn into profit for us. It was frustrating when Mateer tucked it, but he couldn't risk the penalty. I went back later and I heard that apparently there was some O-line downfield and we would have gotten called back on a penalty anyway. So a nearly identical play happened in the Ole Miss game. The officials flagged Oklahoma for an illegal man downfield. So perhaps it's been said, I didn't go back and watch the film obviously, but John Mateer saw that and that's why he tucked it and ran. So we'll give him that start. A false start on Eddie Pierre-Louis. Then intentional grinding by Mateer led to a punt, but it was an excellent point inside the 10 from Grayson Miller instead of a field goal attempt for Sandell, which would have been 56 yards. Bama converted the 4-1 on a reverse. Here comes the 2-minute warning. Here comes Peyton Bowen. He blocked the catch and the Sooners won. It was truly an incredible game. If you have not heard Toby Rowland's call on that 87-yard touchdown or the Peyton Bowen block the catch, you really need to go back and listen to those. Again, you can see the power plays on the social media for OU football. Just a truly incredible game, everything about it. The reality with the Sooners team is that they still haven't found an offensive rhythm yet, which is super frustrating, at least not since John Mateer's hand surgery, which again, Dr. Jason and I talked about. But they keep winning games, finding a way to win despite pretty persistent offensive stagnation, but our defense is just chef's kiss, incredible. Back-to-back ranked SEC road wins, pretty remarkable, and we did that without our best defensive player. Again, just a reminder, the whole OU team boarded the team flight wearing shirts that said hard to kill. And again, now the path to the college football playoff runs through Norman, Oklahoma, as long as we take care of business at home the next couple of weeks. We finished the night 8-2. John Mateer, 15 of 23, 138 yards, 23 rushing, a touchdown. Xavier Robinson had 34 yards. For Michael Carter, 3 catches, 36, 212 total yards of offense. Kip Lewis, 2 sacks. Ty Simpson, the Alabama quarterback, just for comparison, I want to throw this out there. 28 of 326 yards and a touchdown and interception. But they had 406 total yards of offense. But we have Missouri at home on Saturday at 11 a.m. Again, not a quarterback to worry about this week. It is the running back, Ahmad Hardy. 25 rushes, 300 yards, and 3 touchdowns just last week. He has more rushing yards than the entire Sooner team the entire season. Again, I gave those stats with Dr. Leinen, but in case you missed it, he has 1346 yards, 15 touchdowns on the season. Just him, Ahmad Hardy. OU has 1307 and 17 touchdowns. So I'm going to contain him, which I don't think will be a problem. But also, it was also announced LSU game on November 29th, 2:30 kickoff. We've got 2 excellent home games coming up. Opportunities for us to really show out and get our job done. Excited to see what this team does. I just know we're not going to overlook Missouri. I just know we're not going to overlook LSU. We have so much in front of us. Considering everything we've gone through this season and a lot of people really getting down on us, especially after that second loss, we've really got the whole world in front of us right now and are in the palm of our hand right here. We just have to take care of it. Have all the faith in the world that we will. Okay, my Sooner MVP of the week, I'm going to give it to Tate Sandell and the Sooner defense for that win at Alabama. Also cannot overlook the Bowen brothers, Peyton and Eli. Incredible plays that they both had in that game as well. Also want to mention that Teddy Leinen said that his player of the week would have been Kip Lewis. He had 2 sacks when we needed them, which were truly incredible timing. So I do want to give a shout out to Kip. Don't want to get him overlooked. Basically, our defense and Tate Sandell, just truly incredible performance by them in Alabama on the road. It's really hard to beat, pointing that out. And to end with a Sooner fun fact, Tommy McDonald and Leroy Selman are the only 2 former OU football players that have been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So again, thank you guys so much for your overwhelming support and for listening to the podcast. If you have not already, please go download and subscribe, share with a friend, leave me a rating or review, whatever social media platform or podcast platform that you are on. Please go and follow me on all platforms at Sooner Girl Pod. Merch I have these awesome shirts. I was able to give a donation to my local chapter of Project 31 that supports breast cancer patients and survivors. These shirts are still available on the website for a very reasonable $20. I also have hoodies, long sleeve tees, hats. I have youth sizes, all kinds of stuff. Please go and check it out. It's soonergirl.bigcartel.com. I have my free newsletter called The Playbook that's coming out soon. You can subscribe to that on Substack at soonergirlsportspod.substack.com. You can also join the locker room there, ladies, for only $5 a month and join in our online huddles. I do giveaways. You get a discount on merch. We have a private chat, a text group. So much fun. I also have advertising and sponsorship opportunities. If you are interested in that, shoot me an email at soonergirlsportspod@gmail.com. You can find all of this information in my link in bio on all of my social media. It's my link tree at SoonerGirlPod on all social media. So please go give me a follow, check out the link tree, and just see how you can get involved in supporting and following the show. I truly appreciate you more than you know. I cannot wait for you guys to hear so many more episodes I have coming up with the basketball players, wrestler, gymnastics, soccer, volleyball. I've got some more football content coming up. Softball will be here before we know it. Baseball. I have a Palm Squad member coming up soon. So much more on deck. You're not going to want to miss anything. So be sure and give me a follow and download and subscribe on your favorite podcast app on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and Substack. So I hope you all have a great week. Let's get a Sooner win on Saturday against Missouri. Yell, cheer like a champion, Boomer Sooner, and I'll see you next Wednesday where we talk sports.